All right, so now that we have the ability of having the mock implementation of the Stripe service or not, now we can go ahead and write some code that will test that we can make a payment successfully, right? So we will pretty much just issue a pull request, right? So we will register a customer, and then after we have a customer, then we will try and make a payment given a card, right? And let's see whether the whole integration works. So usually when you want to test integrations and whether your RESTful APIs are working, you would use something like Postman, right? Or any other HTTP client, such as, for example, I think this is API tester, right? So you could then, issue the post request, put delete, and see whether it works or not. So because we are learning about testing, we're not going to use Postman. And to be fair, like I've never used Postman when it comes to testing things like this, because I want my code to automate all of this for me, right? So you should really stay away from these unless it's something that you actually testing locally in a really small project. But if this is going to production or to real users, then you want to make sure that you automate your test so that you can run as many times as possible, right? So this course is about testing, so this is why I'm teaching you the best practices of how to test your applications. So let's go ahead. So let me go ahead and close this because we're not going to use it. And this as well. So the Stripe mock. So we kind of have our own Stripe mock, right? So it's very simple. It doesn't mock the entire Stripe API, but we're just mocking what we are. But we are just mocking what we need and not the entire Stripe API, which is really awesome. So let me actually close this, and now let me open up IntelliJ. And what we're going to do is, so right here, so let's go ahead and inside of the test folder, inside of Java, and then payment. So right here, so let's go ahead and create a new class and simply call it payments, and then integration testing. Oh, actually test, not testing, integration test. So press enter, and there we go. Now let's go ahead and create a blank test, right? So right here, test method, and right here it should, and then create, and then payment successfully, just like that. Enter. Now obviously we need to import a bunch of things, but what I want to show you first is let's actually take some baby steps in order to write this integration test, so you see exactly how things work. So right here, what we're going to do is the following. So first, we need to add some annotations to this class right here, so that Spring Boot spins up the entire application, right? So what we're going to do here is the following. So let's go ahead to the public class, and this can be simply class, not public. So right here, let's simply say add, and then Spring, and then boot, and then test. So this now makes sure that whenever we run any test within this class, the entire application will start up, right? So it will start up and then die. So let me actually comment this for now. Let me pretty much just run so you see what I mean. There we go. So you can see that this test was actually quick, right? So now 17 milliseconds. Now if I put back the annotation, so add Spring Boot test, and then run, now you should see what's going to happen. Look, so you can see that now we are actually starting up the application, right? And it worked. And this time, instead of 17 milliseconds, it took 102 milliseconds because it had to boot up the application for us. So next, let's go ahead and learn how we are going to test our APIs.